stay. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another Lanky Beat show. Nice to have you on board. We've got some cracking stuff tonight, and our guest is a guy called Chris Rimmer, and he's got some interesting things to tell us all about in his old-fashioned days of the 60s and the rock and roll and the Beatles, would you believe? He actually knew them. Whoa! We'll look forward to some of that a bit later. Okay, well, we're going to get the show underway. This, a friend of mine, Reelin' and Rockin' his band's name, Bill Holmes. He's going to give us a little bit of Boney Maroney.
Well, I got a girl called Boney Maroney, and she's as skinny as a stick of macaroni. You ought to see her rock and roll with her blue jeans on. You know she's not very fat, just skin and bone. Said I love her, she loves me. Oh, how happy now we can be, making love underneath the apple tree. Oh, well, I told her mama and I told her papa too. Just exactly what I want to do. You know I want to get married on the 9th of June. Hey, rock and roll by the light of the silver moon. Oh, I love her, she loves me. Oh, how happy now we can be, making love underneath the apple tree. She's a real live wire. Well, everybody turn round when my baby walk by. You know she's something to see, really catch the eye. Hey, I love her, she loves me. Oh, how happy now we can be, making love underneath the apple tree. Well, I told her mama and I told her papa too. And we did exactly what we said we'd do. You know we went and got married on that 9th of June. And we rocked and rolled by the silver moon. And I love her, she loves me. Oh, how happy now we can be, making love underneath the apple tree. Yeah, making love underneath the apple tree. Oh, making love underneath the apple tree.
Smart work there by Bill Holmes. a member of Reelin' and Rockin'. He decided to put down his own little CD there late in life. I mean, it was 10 years when I put a CD down for the first time. That was getting on a bit, but Bill Holmes has finally seen the light, I suppose, if you call it, and he's put his work down on a nice little CD called Bill Holmes and Friends, Rocking Back the Years. Now then, a brand new band on the scene, but they've never actually kind of played together. How can we do that? Yeah, what happened quite a few months ago, I was listening to my friend over in America called Fred Backman. Now, he's produced quite a few tracks of his own, and I was very impressed with his voice. And I met him when he was over here on tour with the band The Sixth Generation, who we got very pally with, didn't we, Diane?
Yeah.
It certainly did. So, I'm impressed with his songwriting, and I'm impressed with his voice, and I thought to myself, I wonder if we could kind of make a CD together, a track together, write a song together, something like that. So that's what we did. So we kicked around. It took us longer to pick a name than it did to write the song. The song is called What It'll Be Like, and the name of the band is called the Merry Brits. I hope you like that name, Merry Brits, because it reflects what we are. Fred is from America. I'm from Wigan, and Jack is over from Manchester. So we're the UK, and we got technically all the things ironed out. Went in the studio and produced this.
Really don't know what it'll be like. We took a long turn from the innocent life. Who will we call our brothers? And who will help one another? I really don't know what it'll be like. What it'll be like.
We're not afraid of losing good times. We just don't want to fall between the lines. It helps us save what we win, as long as we know where to begin. Then we know what it'll be like. What it'll be like.
Concrete, glass, and steel may be destroyed by hardened hearts. Show them how you feel. Love can be killed or blown apart. Can they understand? I really don't know what it'll be like. What it'll be like. Love and light is the way. Love and light is the way.
Now we understand what it'll be like. Rebuilding forgotten ways, turning to the light. We love all our sisters and our brothers, our friends and our lovers. Now we understand what it'll be like. What it'll be like. Concrete, glass, and steel may be destroyed by hardened hearts. Show might be killed or blown apart. Can they understand? Really don't know what it'd be like. What it'd be like. Love and light is the way. 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 Love and light.
Yes, that's where we are. That's what we do. That's what we did with the Merry Brits. Fred initiated the song initially from his holiday home in Miami. Can't you hear them rippling waves coming up on the beach as I'm speaking?
I'm finding my surfboard.
Can you imagine that? And he put that thing together. He sent it over to us and said, right, I want you to write a verse each, one for Jack, one for me, and do the necessaries and put guitars on and put keyboards on and do all sorts of things with it. And we passed it back to him and he passed it back to us, and we knocked it backwards and forwards until that's what you got. And we're very pleased with the result as well. We're getting very favourable reviews on that particular track. Anyway, notwithstanding, somebody got married who I know, who's been in this studio a couple of times now, and she got married last Saturday. Would you believe? Sue Raymond. Oh, congratulations, Sue. Absolutely wonderful to you and your partner. They got married in Southport Register Office, which is based in the old town hall, and it's a wonderful setting for the wedding ceremony in there, because I should know, because that's where I got married. It was a fantastic setting when I did it, and I could see from the photographs on Facebook, Sue, that you had a great setting too. Congratulations, well done, the pair of you. And for that reason alone, and that reason, we're going to play one of your tracks. So here it is.
Sometimes I feel I've got to run away, I've got to get away from the pain you drive me to. The heart of me, the love we share seems to go nowhere, and I've lost my life, for I toss and turn, I can't sleep at night. Once I run to you, now I run from you. This tainted love you give, and I give you all I got to give you. Take my tears and that's not really all. Tainted love, ooh, tainted love. Now I know I've got to run away, I've got to get away. You don't really want any more from me to make things right. You need someone to hold you tight, and you think love is to pray, but I'm sorry, I don't pray that way. Once I run to you, now I run from you. This tainted love you've given, I give you all I got, 'cause if you take my tears, and that's not really all. Tainted love, ooh, tainted love. on to you. Now I run from you. This tainted love you've given, I give you all a girl to give you. Take my tears and that's not really all. Tainted love, ooh, tainted love. Touch me, baby, tainted love. Touch me, baby, tainted love.
Tainted Love there by the Sue Raymond Band. I love it. I love it. Sue, you come from Southport, and I've only got to know you recently. We've got you lined up at Lankykats, I believe, in I think about March with your band, and I think it's a new one called the Sweeping Brush Band, if I'm not mistaken. You'll have to correct me on that one, but I think that's basically what you are at the moment, and I'm not quite sure where you got the word or the name Sweeping Brush from. We'll go and we're looking forward to that. And that particular track, I'm told by Diane reliably, it's a Northern Soul track. I never imagined it being Northern Soul at all, but you know, and there's another connection here with Southport, because the guy who made a big hit record out of it was Mark Almond, and he was from Southport. And you know, our guest here in the room, sat there waiting patiently for his spot, is he's from Southport. Well, Formby really. It's his Formby. Let me just tell you something about Formby. Formby is where all Liverpool people aspire to live, and they think they've made it. It's the posh end of Liverpool, if you know what I mean. You know.
When the Dockers got paid out, they all moved to Formby.
That was Chris. That was Chris in the background there. He's yeah, we're going to put him on in a little while. And meanwhile, what we've got now, another guy who I must tell you about, and he's not been well, and he had a little bit of a how do you describe it? Yeah, a bit of a wobbly. Which is quite serious. We won't go into detail because we're not allowed to, but he's back with his band, fronting up, and he's doing exceedingly well now. I think he had to lose a bit of weight as well. I think he got a bit of a telling off from his doctor. He's from Denmark, and this is Chimbo's Revival.
Shakes all over me. Cribble down the backbone. Shakes in the knee bone. Tremble in the thigh bone. Shaking all over. Good night to me. Brings the feeling on inside of me. Cribble down the backbone. Shakes in the knee bone. Tremble in the thigh bone. Shaking all over. Shakes all over me. Cribble down the backbone. Shakes in the knee bone. Travel in the thigh
boy, Chimbo's Revival, all the way from Denmark. Keeps in touch with me via Facebook, does Chimbo, but he's doing an awful lot of work over in Denmark at the moment, and the band are keeping really busy. And if ever you've never seen Chimbo, whose real name is Ingvar Christian, he is a dead ringer for Bill Haley, and with the Kiss Curl. It comes complete with Kiss Curl, and of course his repertoire is far wider than what Bill Haley's ever was, in that he can hit those notes that everybody that I know as a singer would love to be able to hit. He's got that strong operatic type of voice, not operatic, but operatic type of voice, and he can hit them high notes, and it sounds tremendous. And well done, Chimbo. Glad to see you back and up and running, and best wishes for the future. Also, I want to give a mention to our friend in Southport again, the Southport connection strong tonight, Joan Bimson from the Extras. We want to wish you all very best of everything from us here in the studio, as we do in everybody on the wards and everybody all over the place in Wrightington Hospital here. We want to wish you all the best. Joan in particular, just because she's a Southport rocker. She plays that bass with twinkle fingers. That's what I call her. Old twinkle fingers. Oh boy, can she play that bass. Anyway, we are wishing you well for the future, Joan, and wishing you lots
we're behind you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, rooting for you all the way. Right, okay. Listen to this, and then we'll tell you all about this young man I've got sat in the corner, chomping at the bit. He's giving you his first track, and he's going to help you fall in love with you.
Wise men say only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love with you. Shall I stay? Would it be a sin if I can't help falling in love with you? Like a river flows surely to the sea, darling, so it goes. Some things are meant to be. Take my hand, take my whole life through, for I can't help falling in love with you. Like a river flows surely to the sea, darling, so it goes. Some things they're meant to be. Take my hand, take my whole life through, for I can't help falling in love with you, for I can't help falling in love.
with his latest band, Just Us. He'll be enjoying a session with us in Lankykats next Thursday night, and we'll look forward to seeing Chris Rimmer and his band, the Just Us, next week. And formerly, Chris was in a band in the 60s called Chris Rimmer and the Quiet Ones, and they used to play at the Kingsway Club in Southport, where many top acts, in fact I think all the top acts in showbiz came to the Kingsway one time or another, you name it. Tom Jones, Shirley Bassey, and so on and so forth, and they all came. And Chris and the Quiet Ones, Chris Rimmer and the Quiet Ones, they used to play there as well. Now I believe that they played on a stage right up above on the top floor, is that right? And it was the top floor, and it was all pop and crisps up there, because everybody who went up there, it was kind of a youth club on Sunday afternoon, wasn't it? A kind of a youth club, and it was all pop and crisps, no alcohol. But we didn't need alcohol them days. All you needed was the adrenaline that you got from the visiting bands. And one of those bands, I'm happy to say, that played and shared a stage with Chris Rimmer and the Quiet Ones was Chris Rimmer himself. Welcome to the Lanky Beat Show, Chris.
Thank you very much, Bill.
And
Honored to be here.
We're loving it having you here, because I know you've got so much stuff to tell us all about. We'll take it stage by stage. First of all, we'll bring you forward. We'll take you back a little bit further than the Kingsway. If you can remember when you were at school, or at least when you first kind of got hooked with this thing that we call rock and roll. What was your first influence that you ever had?
Oh, all of it, I think. It was, well, I was a boy chorister to start with.
Right.
I never did any work at school for singing. I was a boy soprano.
And you sang in the band. You sang in the choir, should I say?
Yeah. And I got told, I was leaving one school to go to another, and the music teacher said, "Do not start singing this rubbish that's coming out now. You'll ruin your voice." So I went from, I did of course, and I went from being a voice soprano to sort of I'm a semi-bass baritone. But it's just the kick-off, the Liverpool scene. I just got infatuated with it.
Yeah.
I've lived it and I'm still living it.
Yeah. Well, it just took a hold and that was it. It's gripped millions as this.
Once you got
thing,
it.
this Mersey beat thing. And were you living in Formby then, or Southport?
Yeah, no, I've lived in Formby. I've lived in Formby all my life.
Yeah. So, I mean, this in-between business of you're just a little village outside of Liverpool, but you're also a little village just outside of Southport as well, aren't you?
Oh, we commuted between the two,
You just swap between the two.
Yeah.
And the Mersey beat bands, a lot of the bands came from that area as well.
That's right, yes. Yeah, indeed.
So, when you got... kind of, how did you get things together? How did you get a band to come around you and things like that?
Well, we had a couple of tries, and I think we were on that the song you just played before. We screeched that all over Formby once, and got the police come and stopped us.
Oh.
We're in the Gala field at Formby,
right?
And that was about the kick-off, and then we sort of had different people playing, but it didn't work out, but we finished up meeting George Eccles, of course.
Yeah.
George as well.
Yeah, we know George very well.
And then we got the band together, and we stuck together for until I got married in 1962.
Right.
Yeah.
And so this was kind of 62 when the Beatles weren't known then. Well, nobody was known. Beat wasn't known, was it?
No, well,
62.
The place you were referring to, sorry to butt in on you, was yeah, he died about 3 years ago. The chap that Ruan, I think it was Mike Ruan, the big ginger-haired Irishman that ran the Marine Club, it was called. Upstairs, top floor,
and in the Kingsway.
Yeah, we played with the big three, Remo 4, King Size Taylor. All that lot, but when the Beatles first started taking off with Mr. Epstein, of course, the first 3 visits they ever
Yeah.
played at the Marine Club. We played second band to them.
Did
For
you?
yeah, we did. Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, I forgot to bring it in. I've got a plaque from the Palace Hotel. You remember the Palace Hotel?
Vaguely,
Yeah.
I've only ever seen a picture
We used to
of
play
it.
there in between dance bands and get thrown off. Well, there was a poster in the hallway which I've got a picture of it. It said, "Dad's gone down the dog track. Mother's playing bingo.
Yeah.
Everybody else has gone to the Kingsway to see the Beatles and the Quiet Ones."
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And that's a plaque that you've got.
Yeah, I got a
presented. It's
picture of it. Yes.
on your wall.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something about the Palace Hotel. It's no longer there. It's a Morrison's now, isn't it?
It's a housing estate.
Is it a housing estate?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So I think I'm getting my hotels mixed up here, but I believe there's a mystery about one of the gigs the Beatles played in Southport. We've nailed every venue that they've played in Southport, including the old Labour Club. There was an old Labour Club,
Yes.
and such like. Of course, they played the Floral Hall, but they played a venue, and it's argued that by some people that they played at the Palace, and it's argued by some people that they didn't play at the Palace.
Well, we weren't aware of them playing at the Palace. I think we were about one of the only bands. We were very early, and we played.
You certainly were.
We played with the dance bands, and we got a quarter of an hour spot.
Yeah.
In the middle.
Yeah.
And then got told off for making a racket.
Yeah. Like, that was what it was like. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly where kind of I was much later coming into it, but yeah, you were a novelty, weren't you? In the middle of all this finery and this, it was that kind of Strictly Come Dancing, wasn't it?
We weren't quite accepted, Bill. You know, yeah, we're not quite
There was
accepted.
a great deal of snobbery
I
around.
say.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we soon sorted them out.
And then I know the bands, the rock bands took over.
Absolutely.
And pushed the dance bands
out
yes, completely.
Yeah, yeah.
So there was a transition where they
yes, a big one.
allowed us to come in.
Yeah.
So that's great. What we'll do now, we'll just take a short kind of soiree break and put your next track up.
Oh.
This is another crooner. I want to ask you a little bit more after this about what your love of crooning
This is me.
as well as rock and roll. And this one, He'll Have to Go.
Put your sweet lips a little closer to the phone. Let's pretend that we're together all alone. I'll tell a man to turn a jukebox way down low. And you can tell your friend there with you, he'll have to go. Whisper to me, tell me, do you love me true? Or is he holding you the way I do? Though love is blind, make up your mind, I've got to know. Should I hang up, or will you tell him he'll have to go? You can say the words I long to hear while you're with another man. Do you want the answer, yes or no? Darling, I will understand. Put your sweet lips a little closer to the phone. Let's pretend that we're together all alone. I'll tell a man to turn that jukebox way down low. And you can tell your friend there with you, have to go.
Some of the best songs that ever been written, wasn't it, that Jim Reeves used to sing? Absolutely fantastic. And crooning is a thing that I remember we used to listen to Sing Something Simple on a Sunday evening, and I just remember my dad, and he used to sing his little socks off. And I think that's where I got my kind of interest in singing from. But this crooning, this Frank Sinatra type crooning and all that, it was a particular style, wasn't it? And it was born out of the 40s and 50s. And Chris, you tell me about your kind of, how you found your way into singing in that particular way.
Well, Bill, I was smitten with that song when it first came out, and beggar me, I can't remember the year, but it was very early, and I think it was in the charts, or it was it was in the charts for months, and I think you'll find that was the first Jim Reeves breakthrough.
Yeah.
Over here, and after that, well, on that CD you'll find I put quite a few. I love Jim Reeves.
Yeah.
Went too quick, the man, a genius, wonderful.
Yeah.
A wonderful singer. Yeah.
It's
and I loved his songs.
just so
Yeah.
warm, rich
Yeah.
tones that come out. Very very therapeutic as
And
well.
his lyrics is
Oh,
I like songs that tell stories, you know.
do you know if he wrote those kind of songs?
Do
or
you know,
what?
I don't know who was behind him,
Yeah.
but he certainly knew what they were doing.
It certainly did know what they were doing, didn't they?
They're evergreens, they'll never die. Never. No.
No, and you found your way into
Oh,
enjoying
yeah.
singing.
Well, I was
those.
doing all that before. You know, I do, as you know, I'm a demon on the rock and roll, but that is me.
Yeah.
That's why I made that CD. That is
Yeah.
me. All those songs mean to me. It took me years to compile them. Yeah.
Something very special in every song.
Yes, yeah.
that
Well, the first one you played was me mum. My mum was a farmer's daughter, but that song of Elvis's,
Yeah.
she loved that song, my
Yeah,
mother,
yeah.
absolutely. So that's why I.
So that was particularly dedicated to your mother when
all
you
of them
decided.
are really tied with
Yeah.
me quite long existence.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm looking at the track list now, and it's not all crooning as well, because Chris has another side to him, and that's the rock and roll side. But before we go on to that, have you ever kind of played this material live? I mean, you know, your crooning songs. Have you ever done that live?
I have difficulty in finding backing, if you like. We like to call it backing, Bill. You know, the setup. As you know, it took me ages to get those right with George. They're like backing tracks, if you like.
Yeah.
They're not the real thing, and they're quite difficult to sing to.
Yeah.
But I've never had the band don't want to play.
Yeah.
And they can't actually play proper back into those sort of songs, if
Yeah.
you know what I mean. So
Yeah. Well, which is a shame.
absolutely,
It's a shame
it's
because
a crime.
I'm sure, you know, there is an audience out there, just like yourself, that would love to perhaps sit down one night and listen to Chris Rimmer singing these particular crooning songs. I'm sure there's something. Maybe it could be set up somewhere, and a special audience invited.
Yeah.
A night with Chris Rimmer, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
Croon your blues away.
yeah. But like you say, getting rock and roll musicians to play in this particular way is kind of, it runs kind of contrary to what they
exactly
are all about, doesn't it?
It's against their morals.
You know? And they're losing out big style.
Oh yeah.
I play cabaret in clubs.
Yeah.
And with my drumming, and I learned all the rudiments. I thought I could play drums before I went into the clubs. I thought I could play because I played in a rock band. I thought I could play. Well, did I have a big shock when I went into the clubs?
Bit of an eye-opener,
playing this kind of stuff as well as all the other kind of stuff. And then you were even expected to play all the old-time dances and have all the rhythms and the exactly. So you talk about an awakening of sorts, but once I've got to grips with them and learned them, they're there forever.
Yeah.
And you know, it's made me a rounded kind of richer musician because
That's
of it.
right,
You know,
yeah.
it's fantastic.
Broaden your
Right.
horizons.
So let's listen to a little bit more of Chris's music. And this one I think is a very old favourite, but a guy made it quite famous this in about 1960 or 61-ish, something like that. And that guy's name is Cliff Richard, and this is Travelling Light.
Got no bags and baggage to slow me down. I'm traveling so fast, my feet ain't touching the ground. Traveling light, traveling light. Well, I just can't wait to be with my baby tonight. No comb and no toothbrush, I've got nothing to hide. Am I carrying only a pocket full of dreams, heart full of love? They weigh nothing at all. Soon I'm gonna see that love look in her eyes. Well, I'm a hoot and a holler away from paradise. Traveling light, traveling light. Well, I just can't wait to be with my baby tonight. No comb and no toothbrush, got nothing to harm. I'm a carrying only a pocket full of dreams, heart full of love. They weigh nothing at all. Soon I'm gonna see that love look in her eyes. Well, I'm a hoot and a holler away from paradise. Traveling light, traveling light. Well, I just can't wait to be with my baby tonight. Ooh.
Cliff Richard. But that wasn't Cliff Richard. This was Chris Rimmer. And Chris, I'm sure what you've just told us about all these 15 tracks on your lovely CD, excuse me, microphone, Welcome to My World, of course this is what it's called, and you've got an influence here as well. I mean, every track has been influenced, has influenced you greatly and deeply, hasn't it? Because you told me before that each one of the tracks have been carefully chosen to represent some major influence in your life. And Cliff Richard is in there with Travelling Light. So how come he's influenced you?
To my marriage.
Right.
Yes, well, remember the days of the old coffee bars? You must remember, Bill. And
certainly do.
And the old, a tanner for one, a shilling for three. Wait for your favourite girl to come in, pop the music on, and who else? It's got to be. Yeah,
it
girl
has to
in
be
your
Cliffy.
Arms. Oh, Cliff, magic.
It has to be Cliffy, hasn't it?
You know, magic man.
And that,
we owe him a lot.
That's right. That's right. And what about that record he made with the Shadows? And he called it Move It, and it just absolutely moved and shifted the planet. Never mind. I mean, that's where I switched on to rock and roll, big style.
The feet went down when that came out. That was it.
That was it.
That was it. Yeah.
That was it, wasn't it?
Boy Meets Girls on the telly. That was it. Cliff Richards.
Yeah.
You could have the rest. Yes.
I mean, we had Elvis, we had Chuck Berry, we had all those guys from the Bill Haley from the mid-50s up to that time, and they dominated everything, didn't they?
Yeah.
And you kind of had to be an American to sing rock and roll.
Well, that's right.
There was nobody English could sing rock and roll.
They brought it over on the
Couldn't.
boats, didn't they? Yeah.
So, and next thing,
Oh, perhaps.
Cliff Richard with the Shadows made Move It, and like I said, it was a seismic shift.
Yeah, it was Rule Britannia for rock and roll.
It was.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely.
He stamped it. It was, and still great
So,
man.
have you got any kind of other particular tracks that you like, of Cliff's that's influenced you?
George that's produced these records for me. George used to play lead guitar in the band. He's put in a little CD together of Cliff numbers from like 58 or just before 58 to 62. The old love songs that us old codgers all fell in love with, you know, and that's what I'm about to be doing next year.
Yeah.
I'm doing a combination of all Cliff's old love songs.
Lovely.
Coffee
lovely.
bars.
Well, we're looking forward to you getting that done and bringing it in, and we'll have another kind of session.
Oh yeah, I'll
this.
be smashing.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. That's
Yeah.
great. So we've got another one lined up here for you, and again, a complete contrast in styles. There's no question about this. This is some of Johnny Cash influence, isn't it? Folsom Prison Blues.
I hear that train a-comin', it's rolling round the bend. Ain't seen no sunshine since I don't know when. I'm stuck in Folsom Prison and time keeps dragging on. And that train'll keep on rolling on down to San Antone. When I was just a baby, my mama told me, son, always be a good boy, don't you ever play with guns. But I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. So when I hear that whistle blowing, I hang my head and cry. Yeah! I bet there's rich folks eating in them fancy dining cars. I bet they're drinking coffee and smoking big cigars. But I knew I had it coming. I know I can be free. Yeah. But those people keep on moving, and that's what tortures me. Play it again, Sam. Well, they freed me from this prison. That railroad train was mine. I guess I'd have it moved a little farther down the line, far from Folsom Prison. That's where I wanna stay. Yeah. And I'd let that lonesome whistle blow all my blues away. Sweet!
Absolutely magic. Johnny Cash, eat your heart out. That's all I can say. Because here comes Chris Rimmer. Fantastic. So, another influence now, a complete contrast to everything else that you've shown that we've got here on this track list. And where was Johnny Cash in all this for you, Chris? Where was he?
I was absolutely mesmerised by Johnny Cash. He was a guy I really took to, although he was, all these fellas seemed to be a bit wild, like they were good people, but they used to go off track, you know what I mean? They had drugs and drink problems, but genuinely, they were real good guys, and I loved his music, and he sang, his repertoire was just, well, I've never known anybody with a repertoire like him. Even Elvis, he just had everything. He could sing anything.
Yeah.
And he was a real nice guy, really, you know.
Yeah.
I've got an old a DVD of him in Ireland. At some rock, folk festival in Ireland, and with the sisters, all of them, Chris Christopherson and Johnny's son, and the sound isn't very good, but the whole thing is, you know, it's just brilliant.
Fantastic.
It bolts off him, doesn't it? You know, he
Yeah.
uses it, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember I played in a Liverpool club. It was Kirby Labour Club. I used to play residency
Oh
in
yeah,
for a while.
yeah.
So all the Liverpool acts then. This was in the 70s, and if there was a band on, inevitably it was country music band.
Mhm.
It was all country music, and I've since found out that Liverpool is the second only city in the world that is called a country music capital, because of course the capital of country music in the world is Nashville.
Yes.
The second one is Liverpool.
Yeah.
That is how big the scene in Liverpool was at one stage, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's a big scene going on now,
Oh, I
but you
think
don't
so,
hear
yeah.
much about it.
No.
But all based on the country, you know, music that we know and love.
Yeah.
That again has had to take a back seat
Yeah.
to rock and roll.
That's right.
Yeah, again,
Again. Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
But rock and roll keeps coming through, doesn't it? Rock and roll,
Oh,
blues.
you'll never kill it.
Yeah, in all kinds of manifestations,
Yeah.
and doesn't it? But it keeps coming through.
Yeah.
And you have blown me away today, Chris, because some of this stuff I'd completely forgotten about. Let's have a look at. Let's just give you some kind of idea of what Chris has got on his track list. Sorry, Mike. Can't Help Falling in Love with You, which is what we've just heard. Very first track. Ring of Fire, that's another Johnny Cash. Lucille by the Everly Brothers initially.
No,
Was
no.
that Lucille?
The other fella in the bar in Toledo.
Go on,
Kenny
sing
Rogers.
it. Go on.
Kenny Rogers, yeah.
Sing it. Yeah.
On a bar
You-
stool, she took off her ring. That one, yeah.
Yeah. You took a fine time to leave me loose wheel.
That's the one.
Something about that. There's a joke in there somewhere.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, he's riding his truck and the wheel fell off his truck and he sang.
I thought she was throwing stilettos and she lost her heel.
Yeah. Oh,
Lucille.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Starry-eyed. Oh, am I so
Bong,
star-
bong, 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 bong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Elvis is in the Ghetto.
Oh, I love that, yeah.
Now then, one of the songs that I really loved as a kid, and I was a kid, was Story of My Life.
Yeah.
That was Michael Holiday.
That's the man.
And the story.
Born in
of-
Kirkdale.
Yeah. Well,
Yes.
really.
Oh, yes.
Someday I'm gonna write
Didn't he do Runaway
the story of my life.
Yeah.
Train? Yeah, do Runaway Train as well.
Is he what?
The Runaway Train.
Came over the track
The
and she-
runaway train.
Yeah,
Over the
yeah,
track
yeah.
and he blew.
Yeah.
Anyway, go down quickly. The Gambler, and we've also heard 2 or 3 or 4 tracks from him there. Traveling Light, you're the only good thing that happened to me. For the Good Times, Distant Drums, that's a good one again from
Jim
the man
Reeves,
himself,
yeah,
Jim
yeah.
Reeves. Adios Amigo. Tell
Yeah,
me a bit
Jim
about
Reeves,
that.
yeah.
Jim Reeves. And finally, Welcome to My World. Now then, I don't think we're going to have a chance to play finally Welcome to My World, because Chris has recorded a very special track that is dedicated. Well, I'll leave him down. I won't introduce it. I'll let Chris tell you all about this particular single that he's just released.
Well, it's a song that was, the school kids will all clap hands. The school children all tell me they sang this at assembly in the morning.
Yeah.
But I'm not being glum. It's a big song at a funeral.
Right. That's all right.
But it is a song, and it's a beautiful song. And it was my sister's favourite song. My sister died at 59.
Right.
And, of course, it was played at her funeral.
Yeah.
And from that day on, I swore that I would record it. Well, I've got I've been going to record it for donkey's years.
Yeah.
And I finally
You finally got.
through George's help, I've got it on it's a disc on its own, and I hope that you know, it's not rock and roll, but I hope you appreciate this song. It is a real.
Well, what we do, we appreciate the sentiment.
Yes. Thank you, Bill.
Because, you know, what you've done this evening for me is you brought in a huge, massive Hart into the studio, you know, because everything that you've heard tonight has come from Chris Rimmer's Hart, I believe, tonight.
Yes, it has.
And that's what you brought into the studio.
Love.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Love. You've said it in one word.
Yeah.
Just to say a little bit about, in a couple of weeks' time, we're going to have George in the studio. George Eccles is going to come in.
Oh, right.
And
Jolly
we're
good.
going to have George on the show.
Yeah.
And he's going to be, obviously, telling us all about his life in rock and roll.
Yeah.
And so you've been mentioning George all night. Well, George is coming in and he's telling us all about
Smashing.
it. Now then, okay, what's the title of this song, Chris?
It's I Watch the Sunrise.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll leave you at this particular point, and I watch the sunrise.
Thank you very much, Bill.
Thank you, Chris.
I watch the sunrise lighting the sky, casting its shadows near. And on this morning, bright though it be, I feel the shadows near me. But you are always close to me, following all my ways. And may I always be close to you, following all your ways, Lord. I watch the sunlight shine through the clouds, warming the earth below. And at the midday, life seems to say, I feel your brightness near me. For you are always close to me, following all my ways. And may I always be close to you, following all your ways, Lord. I watch the moonlight guarding the night, waiting till morning comes. The air is silent, earth is at rest, only your peace is near me. Yes, you are always close to me, following all my ways. May I be always close to you, following all your ways, Lord.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed the show tonight. We've enjoyed bringing it to you around the Wigan and Wrightington